Hey guys, it's me again, Chris from Broken Nib RC. I wanted to do a video on this mainly for therapeutic reasons, for my own peace of mind. This is my lousy opinion on WPL, the guys that bring you many really cheap kits from mainland China. Um, I bought this. This is this is the C44 KM. KM stands for kit metal. In case anybody's confused, uh, I bought this April of last year actually, and I kind of I've had my ups and downs with it. Let's put it that way, which I will explain shortly. Um, yeah, I paid I paid a little bit more. Well, here's the deal. WPL like a year ago. I mean, they've been around for a few years. I know they're really big in Europe, in the UK. I think somehow the shipping's either cheaper there or something. I think they get around because they seem to be really popular. And I can see why. It's actually a good looking little truck. Um, but I paid about $100. I right now the going price is I think they have a little sale on it. You can get them for 107. I think I paid like 109 or something, and then I had to pay shipping on top of that, and that was from their headquarters in mainland China. So it was like an extra 30, $40. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. They recently got. I just looked them up at the website. They have a warehouse now somewhere in the U.S., which is cool. So and it's if you live in the States, it's pretty much free shipping. I think it's maybe $3, and I don't know. It's probably first class or priority mail or something along those lines. So or it might be UPS, but anyway, um, shipping is just about free. So you're looking at $100. And it's funny, from the shutdown, I had this is before all the inflation and the shipping problems hit, and I had bought uh, a couple of similar kits from. Let me pull this out here. A couple of similar trucks from I can't remember KMS. Anyway, I bought a couple of similar trucks. Like this guy is like Patriot RC. Uh, I hit the camera with my knee. That's awesome. Like this guy. This is Patriot RC. It takes same hubs as the SCX24, so you can put different tires and stuff on it. And I dismantled it and shot a quick coat of paint on it. But this was less than $100 at that time, and I think now you can get them for around. You can still find them on Amazon for like a little less than 100, um, which is pretty cool. The electronics that come with it are garbage. I stripped, like on this one, I kind of stripped it out, and I'm in the process of putting new electronics in it. I found, got the bearing sizes and got bearing. They don't have bearing kits for these things, but it's the same. It's the same undercarriage as it's the same as the KM whatever, but it's under Easy RC, and this is called the Patriot, and it's like white with a little couple mountain, like a mountain sticker mountain on the side. Um, but anyway, this is like less than $100, and for that, it's a pretty good Land Cruiser clone. You do whatever you want with it, and then I ended up getting this guy. This is the blue Glacier, which was not Easy RC, but they're still selling them now, but they went up in price, of course. And now you can get these for like $130. It used to be like 90. At the time I got them, it was the shutdown, and you're stuck at home, and you just want something to do. You don't expect big performance out of them, but you know, um, yeah. So they look cool. You go paint them up. Everything is black on this model, which is kind of lame. So I just recently started taking it all apart and painting everything. That's in the process. You know, but they're just kind of like, they're not trail trucks or anything. You're not going to go rock crawling with them, and it's the same principle with this. Even though I hear them sell it as like a trail truck, I don't understand anybody using this on the trail. It's like nuts. I don't. No. um, the body, mine. When I did get mine, it did arrive damaged, and I tried to go through the website to get any kind of customer service, and I had goose eggs. And later I found out that they really go through their Facebook page, which is fine, but they could have mentioned that somewhere on the website. Because I'm not a mystic. I'm sorry, I lost that power years ago. So anyway, it did arrive damaged. This is why this door will not close. I'm in certain pictures of this stuff, but oh, this thing, I had to take it out with a heat gun and try to straighten it out, and, you know, let it set a couple times, and even after all that, this door will pretty much won't close. The body itself, this guy closes. It's not well, but it closes. The body in and of itself, as far as the kit goes, as far as putting all this together, because this is all a separate piece. This actually, I was very surprised. It actually lined up very well. It comes with these little teak boards off the bat. You know, for this model, it's the not really a pickup, but it's kind of a stake bed truck. Is actually pretty cool. I mean, it's, you know, it got a spare off the back. It comes with a free winch, which is, or something they market it. It's like you're getting some big deal. I'll pull the winch out in a minute, but it's pretty much crap. You know, I mean, it is what it is. It's got an interior in there. It's not that bad. The body itself, I was actually surprised at the windshields. The windshield and the top and everything actually went together really well. If you do end up having to use a little glue, it's not a big deal. It comes with a big WPL, I guess you can put across here. By the time I had a lot of problems putting this together, and by the time I got to this, I was not drinking their Kool-Aid. I wasn't going to put their name on this in any way. In fact, there's some pictures before my lousy weathering job. I literally just grabbed a couple spray cans and just dusted it from the bottom up for like cheap weathering. And kind of threw it on the shelf. I got it running. I didn't get the electronics package, which looks really crappy, but it does come with a steering servo and the motor stock in the kit. So that's really not that bad. I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. You know, you're not going to get spectacular, you know, it's not the king of all turkey servos there is on planet Earth, of course. It is what it is. But, you know, it gets you rolling. It's no big deal. At the time I bought a cheap $10 ESC off of Amazon. Just kind of picked it up. And then I threw a little 2-cell battery in it and got it to run around. It does come with LEDs. LEDs for the headlights. You can put those in there, which is, yeah, it's cool. I mean, you know, I don't have a problem with it. You know, that kind of thing. There's adequate amount of room to store electronics and that, and like a little battery. But you know, like any battery, like for a SCX24, it doesn't matter. It's just a little guy. Threw that in there, you know, and ran it around a little bit, and I went, I'm not going to run this thing. But you know, it doesn't. It's not. This isn't I mean, I'm sure you guys know this. This is not a performer. This is for looks, and it looks really good for an old old LC70. I think was it LC70 or Land Cruisers out of the 70s, the late 60s, no 70s. It looks great, really. I really can't. I have no qualms with the body. I like the little teak bed. Whoops. The roof just came off. Awesome. I think a little glue would help that a bit. Yeah, in fact, I'm trying to get into weathering again and get my airbrush out and play with it. And this will be a perfect guinea pig for that. You know, like I said, all the headache rack on there just fine, and the plastic's a little rubberized, but if you undercoat it with silver, put a little flat black over it, and hit it with some steel wool, it looks fine. Looks good. The bed needs some oil stains, and I just like to weather the crap out of it. It really isn't that bad. My problem was underneath, and let me get this body off and I'll show you. Okay, and we're back. Check here, see if you can see whatever the hell it is I'm doing. Yeah, this was a problem. Well, these tires are round. That's a good thing. There's no foam in them, and I guess they're rubber-ish, rubber something or other. Yeah, they're kind of like a very, very, very hard rubber. I mean, you're not going to get, I don't know. I go back and forth between, well, it's a cheap kit out of China, it's like something to build and kind of goof around with. So, what do you expect? And then you go from that to like, I dropped about $130 on this thing. I should get more for my money. But there you go. It is what it is. It's got the chassis rails. Mine arrived bent, so I had to bang those out, which is not a problem because it's made out of about the weakest metal there is. So yeah, that was like no issues. The instructions, it came with one page of instructions, and if you go on the website, there's YouTube videos you can download to see just how to put this together. It's not that terribly complicated. The problem is the instructions they're pretty much one page, and they're very, very bad. They're very bad. And to make things a little more confusing, I guess someone in China thought they would use American slang. All the correspondence with them, they keep calling me bro. That kind of irked me because I'm not your bro. I just want your shit to work. I got metal axles, which was nice. And they give you a bunch of paper gaskets. And even with the gaskets, the ring gear was still hitting the cover. So I had to Dremel out all the covers. And not only that, it still wouldn't run smooth. I ended up running them through assembling them and then running through a drill for a few minutes, where actually is about 10-15 minutes per axle, just to get them to function. And like I said, Dremel out the backside of this cover. So that was a bummer. And they're still not really right. I guess you can, this was like an add-on. I guess I got the metal trusses, which, axle trusses, which is, I guess is an option now or something. I don't know. I don't see you really running it that much to even really need them. It's just kind of there. These, I guess, are springs. They're basically just like spring-like collars, and they've got a spring in the top here, and they just kind of click in. What got me about the wheels is that there's no hubs. It's a little odd. There's no hubs. The hub is a piece of metal that comes out, a hextangular piece of metal that comes out about, I don't know, 1/4 inch. And then there's obviously a hex on the wheel. Problem is they're not the same size. And I think I ended up having to bang these on with a hammer. All the hardware on this is at least 2 millimeter. Pretty much 2 millimeter. There might be some 2.5s in there, but it's all 2 millimeter metal hardware. And that's not enough to sink these in. There's just no way. So you end up hammering on. These wheels are on here permanently. They're not coming off for anything, which is kind of weird. Yeah. The links, according to the instructions, are all different, different links, but it takes you a while to figure out. They don't give you any extras either. There's no, these link ends, there's no extra link ends, so you break one, that's it. Found that the hard way. Was able to, I think I got one repaired or something. I forget. Yeah, I mean, it was just, I mean, it wasn't impossible, it was just kind of confusing. The hardware on this thing, they're Phillips head. It's very bizarre. They're Phillips head, and like I said, they're about 2 millimeter. And I don't know what contractor they got to make this hardware, but it was awful. It was like an imprint of a Phillips head, not an actual cut Phillips head. Like, like these come with like Phillips head hardware, but you could still get a small screwdriver to take things apart. I mean, you know what I mean? The stuff the outsourcing or in-house, or I don't know, maybe they made it in a back alley somewhere to get the hardware was so bad. This is like these side rails have to come into the solid plastic, and they come in pretty far, and you've got to be able to, cinch them up just to keep everything from falling apart. And that was virtually impossible with the included hardware. There was just no way, because it was, like I said, they were off center. The Phillips head was like a stamp. It wasn't actually cut into the screw, so everything was either off center or so shallow. I've got tons of screwdrivers, jewelry stuff, everything here, and there wasn't no damn way I was going to find anything that would sink these screws. So I ended up buying a hardware kit off of Amazon as an extra $10, 2 millimeter, 2 or 2.5, I can't remember which, but 2 millimeter to basically complete this kit. There's, I don't know, some of these original screws might be here. They give you the exact, it's not like they give you a bag of screws either. They're the exact counted out, They might have been shy in a couple of places, but like I said, I think there's a couple of originals here. They're pretty, not the greatest. Not the greatest. So, yeah. Getting this together was a fun chore. Actually, the steering servo sits inside this box. And it's weird. The box just encapsulates the servo, so it just kind of drops in. And there's the included arms and everything. The servo works pretty good. Like I said, it's I can never remember what they call these connectors, but it's actually kind of nice, because the board that comes with like these things is all, even the servo is like a 5-wire servo. I got to look up and figure that out. But it's, if you want to change anything over, and it's all proprietary connectors, so it's kind of a pain in the butt to work with the boards in this thing. This guy, like I said, came with a servo with a regular good old thingy. My brain escapes me. And then just a JST for the motor. Not the biggest motor in the world, but that's fine. This thing comes with a 2-speed, which, to be honest with you, I wasn't going to waste my time putting a micro servo in this thing. To shift it, that's right there. It's pretty much, it doesn't, there's not a lot happening there anyway. Um, yeah, so it was, this was a trial. By the time I got it done, I mean, it became like a, this is probably, um, honestly, and I've been building stuff since the 80s, this is probably the worst building experience I ever had. And I built G-made stuff. I mean, seriously. Um, G-made ain't got nothing on this stuff. And like I said, people love them. People in the States here love them. I'm probably going to get a bunch of flack for. I don't really hate it. Well, I do hate it, but I don't. I don't. I was pretty pissed by the time I got it done. I thought, man, I'd love to have that $130 back, but what are you gonna do? I mean, what are you gonna do? Yeah. So, y- you know, um, I wouldn't recommend it. Well, but see, here's the thing. It's not really a trail truck. It's not meant for performance. The performance is very, very limited. It's weird because they put out, I can't remember the model name, but they put out that little van a couple of years ago that grew intensely popular, the little pickup. And now they have like a van version. They've got like, half a dozen of these models because they just fly off the shelf and guys take them and they make them into drift cars and all kinds of stuff. It was a cheap platform to build things on. And that's kind of, I think that's kind of the same thinking here. Problem is, like that van is, I think they retail it on their site for like $65, or at least it was about 65 when they first came out. I had no desire to really get one because I'm kind of a off-road kind of guy. Um, so I think it was kind of like I had the kind of the same thinking for some reason. And like I said, it started with the hubs, and I'm like, okay, you can't really change the tires, and you can't do this, and you really can't do that, and it's like hours of work just to make it operable. And yeah, I am not digging this at all. This is the antithesis of fun. Um, it's kind of a platform to weather. Like I said, um, the body does pretty good. I mean, I think actually came together. It came together well. I might have had to glue some spots. I'm going to have to put a little glue going on this thing, but you know, it's just this chassis. This chassis was left a little to be desired, and I guess there's like a Toyota pickup they put out, and the guys love them things. It's just with this running gear. This running gear is just really bad. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's subsequent versions. Um, I found out. That's the one thing about this pickup I'm finding out now is that it actually will not take SCX24 rims. It's a slightly, I can't remember the millimeter size, but it's slightly different. And it'll just take the stock tire and wheel combo. Well, I could probably put tires on it. But that's kind of a bummer. I just ended up painting them white and went from there. The Easy RC takes, but that's kind of that was part of the appeal with me. Is like, oh well, shit, I got all kinds of wheels and tires and spare parts, for 24 stuff. Because I get a little bit at a time on Amazon or something, and it's like, oh, okay, well I can use this and not use that, and I'll probably practice a little rush job on this or dull coat or something, and make it kind of fun. And God, there's guys that sell 3D printed tops for them, and square bodies are kind of all the rage lately. Um, yeah, so it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving, and $100 for that doesn't seem to bother me. When these are going for with the red model, I want to say KMC. What's wrong with me? when the red version of this, when they first came out, was $230. That was like, no, no, sorry, no, I don't care, I ain't paying that. Now those have gone down in price, but they're still about $175. However, in that defense, there's better electronics in that version, obviously, and it shows. I mean, I've seen running video; it looks, there's a little more solid, which is fine. But like I said, with this, it was just kind of disappointing, and I hate to. I don't want to rag on a company, and like I said, they are improving. I mean, like I was surprised. I went on the website and I thought, oh, that's cool. Like the USA warehouse makes a big difference, and they've got different warehouses now on different parts of the world, so that people don't have to pay a ton of shipping, I'm assuming, and availability is a little bit better. Yeah. So it's kind of catch 22. You're probably gonna, the new AX24 I just bought yesterday, the one with the dual steering. I'll have a little review of that maybe next week. But that kind of hurt because that was 160. And I remember when I bought my original C10, it was 120. It's old guy barking and bitching. It's just, things go up in price. It happens. I won't go into that, but it's kind of a bummer. But you got to watch your dollar lately. And but like, and I've liked Axio a long time. Some releases are better than others, especially the last few years since Horizon bought them out. But the AX24 looks AX24 looks like it's a pretty good deal. You got a couple servos in there. It's not got to do everything for you, but parts are cheap, and you can, they're going up too, but but it's upgradable. You know what I mean? You can get microservice for it on Amazon for $20. It's not a big deal. You could nickel and dime yourself to death, but all these trucks are. So it's just it's a little bit better investment in the long run. None of these do wonders out of the box anyway. Anybody who's been in this hobby knows that right out the gate. But as far as value per dollar, I think like SCX24 or the Traxxas one, I don't know. Those are kind of, Traxxas is always expensive anyway. But there's lots of 24 scale alternatives that you could do. It's wide open. And this is, I thought this was I thought this was 12 scale for some reason, and it's not. It's 16 scale. So here we go with the scales again. So there's like, you're trying to build a collection. It's kind of hard to keep them all alike. Like a 12 scale of this would be pretty sweet. Like I said, if they got some of the gremlins out of this lousy undercarriage, they could have something there. I actually like the drop in the servo. The way the servo drops in here. This just kind of pops off and bloop, there you go. You're ready to go. I like that. That's a good thing. Plus, it doesn't move around. I don't have to bolt it into the chassis so much, and that kind of thing. But like I said, these axles, I kind of expected a little bit better. Drive shafts are metal drive shafts. They're just kind of these little telescoping jobs. But you're not going to run this enough to really. I don't know. I mean, all these are money pits, but this one I'd stay away from myself personally. So anyway, I'll make it look like a heap, throw it on the shelf, look at it every once in a while. That's about it. Hope you guys are having a great day, and hope you're a wiser spender than I am, and we'll see you on the next one.